Hi, I'm Abby, and today I want to talk about what would be the fifth dimension. This is a topic that comes up a lot. It's a topic that revolves around the future of mankind. It is kind of a big question mark as to what is the fifth dimension. And for somebody like me, I find it's very important that human beings actually know exactly what they mean by what they say. And so for me, who has been hearing this buzzword about the fifth dimension for several years now, and then some, I have been wondering, what is the fifth dimension? I want to define what the fifth dimension is for you in this video. And I want to tell you what I have been experiencing lately within the last few months, and then really what has been a progressive, energetic. It definitely has not happened all of a sudden. It's definitely something I've been experiencing slowly but surely over the course of years, and then very, very apparently over the last few months. And I feel at this point in my life that I could actually tell you what people mean, or what it is to experience a higher vibrational sensation of life itself. So for starters, obviously I'm not used to speaking to people who would have an awareness about the spirit realm, or about alien beings. I'm used to being around people who feel that the world is coming to an end and we're all going to destroy ourselves. And so that is the average Joe. The average Joe sincerely feels like they need to get they need to build a shed with lots of ammunition and as a means to protect themselves from the coming of the end of the world, or from the zombie apocalypse. So that is the average Joe mentality. People really feel that way. And that right there is a human being who is still experiencing life at the level of a human being, which would be instinctive, which would be connected with lower vibrational emotions, which are, related to fear. They're all fear related, and from fear comes sensations of anger and hatred, and all of those emotions that keep us locked into a level which is what people define as the third dimension. I'm not a big fan of talking about things. I don't like definition. I'm not a big fan of the terms of dimensions, because for me it took literally like 15 years of my life to figure out what in the world a dimension was. So for me it took me that long to understand what a dimension is. I can only imagine that most people in the same neck of the woods still don't really know what a dimension is. And from what I have developed, I have definitely discovered that what we are is a vibrational. We feel like tangible beings. We feel like we have a physical form, but we are entirely spiritual. We're spiritual beings exploring a more dense physical expression. And this dense physical expression is only a tiny little fragment of the whole infinite expression, which is spiritual and physical. And in this human form, we end in our development, which is a huge conversation. But as of right now, I will just tell you that currently the human being of today is very attuned to the emotions that are of a lower vibrational setting, which a lot of people would define as third dimension. So third dimension keeps us imprisoned away from loving vibrations, from what is literally like threads of light, and the threads of light are literally like electrical downloading wires, and it's really hard to sense them in the third dimension. It's really hard to experience them. It's really hard to have an awareness that you are as connected to love as you are connected to all the emotions that you feel every day. And because you feel so much more anger and violence and third dimensional, lower vibrational emotions, you really feel like you are completely disconnected, completely not not a part of all of creation, not a part of the fabric that is entirely love, entirely unconditional love, entirely what is actually like high vibrational. It's like sexually, it's super, it is, I have experienced this energy, and it is beyond what love feels like. It is beyond even what a sexual experience feels like. It is so high vibrational. It is sexual energy in its purest form that is entirely unconditional and entirely the energy that creates and manifests a physical reality. It is so intense. So what I am talking about here is a spectrum, literally a spectrum of experience, from really low experiences to really high, profound, vibrational, extraordinary, unconditionally loving, like mind-bending, extreme energy experiences, energetic experiences. So when we're looking at a spectrum of average Joe human down here, where we are really attuned to the low vibrational energies, which are slow and condemning and imprisoning and very attractive to our instinctive nature to fear. And then you take what would be like a super, let's just say an angelic being, because everybody knows what an angel is. There are physical forms in the universe that would be as equivalent, which would feel as equivalent to an angelic beings. So there are literally what are like human beings in the universe, real physical beings, that would be literally an expression of an angelic being manifested in the physical world. And they are super energy, super, like, what it feels like, sexual super vibrations, unconditionally loving, and so that spectrum there. So if you're trying to make sense of what is third dimension, what is fifth dimension, like how many dimensions can we go, how far can we go, I don't want to put a number on that. I am not going to put a number on how far you can take a dimensional reality. I mean, you could really ultimately go to boundless, infinite, dimensional experience. So let's get away from a number, third dimension. Let's get away from fifth dimension, because nothing in our human language would define what actually is a dimensional change between that is not even close to what it is in the experience of an energetic evolution. Really, it's so. Over the last couple of years, I hope before I move on that gives you an idea of humanity vibrating what people would define as a third dimensional vibrational setting, and then human beings vibrating in a higher setting, which they define that as a fifth dimensional setting. I define that as is just it's sort of like it would be like what would be like you have sunglasses on at nighttime, and that's where we are at right now. Sunglasses on at nighttime, and then the sunglasses come off and you've been standing in the daylight all along, and that is the difference. That is the difference. That's what it feels like. It is total awareness and is so odd, because when it happens, it's like, whoa, the whole world is different. Everything looks different. It's all the same, but everything is different all of a sudden. And that's what I've been experiencing lately. And so I really want to push this, because I can tell you that each moon cycle, there are energetic waves of information and downloading, that takes place within our bodies that most people are unaware of, but some people can feel them. And definitely in the last 3 months, I have gone through such a transformation, and it has been horrible and amazing in those 3 months. In the month of August, for instance, I had gone into what would be such a severe depression, such a severe nightmare, hell on earth. And for me, because of I have a very sensitive way of connecting with just energy manifested in physical forms. And you don't realize that, for instance, water, which it's becoming more apparent to the world that water actually is far more extraordinary than it's just a liquid you drink or whatever. It is a living vibrational entity. It literally is. And you could actually take your energy and enter particles of water and experience what water is, and it is insane. So in this this terrible nightmare of I mean, it was such an extreme spiritual experience, but extreme spiritual experience on the most nightmarish setting. So I could not get my mind right. I could not function, and I knew I had this awareness that it was entirely related to the energy that was affecting the planet, and that I was experiencing it in a super profound, magnified way. And it was so much that my brain couldn't tolerate it. My human brain was literally falling apart, because the energy was so strong and it was too much. It was literally having a very, very negative effect, because as a human being in this setting, it is very hard to tolerate extreme, profound downloads of information. And usually, I know that August was not just my month for challenges. I think a lot of people had challenges in August, but for me as a spiritual person, it was very, very difficult. So at that time, I was very and struggling, very, very, very much so, and entering what would be in and out of particles of water, which would be water that is in the air or water that is my shower, and it would be reflective of my state of mind, which was so in imprisonment of depression. And in the particles of water literally were the reflections of hell, and it was terrible. I didn't know if I was going to make it through August. But I know it's entirely related to the energy of we've had some very profound moon cycles in the last 3 months. Profound moon cycles in the last 3 months. And so, surviving August into September, what a relief. September was a lot more manageable. And now in October, I've definitely had some very unimaginably awesome spiritual experiences, and one I'm going to tell you about. So this is me telling you about human beings evolving energetically between dimensions. And you don't know, dimension isn't I'm taking a spaceship and I'm going to go out and see what's out there and I'm going to go to a new dimension. No, it literally is I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and I, have a perceptive awareness that is connected with my brain, which is connected with. It's connected with everything, but it is at a level that is reflective of the physical form that I am experiencing. And so if I were to go from this dimension that I'm in right now, which I have no definition for what that is, to flip to a higher dimension, it would be absolute, harmony, absolute, the most perfect sound, absolutely and I'm just sitting here, and I'm just talking, and I'm not doing anything or going anywhere. But that is the difference. That is the difference. It is going between dimensions is literally a perceptive change. And so what I've been describing is the experience of being human and the experience of being going beyond what our normal is. And it is entirely related to shifting of planets and stars, and that does affect us, but there is somehow, and because we don't exist in that time is not real, time is an illusion. And you actually can feel the illusion when you go into a higher dimension. I can't tell you how you go there. It just happens. So let me get to telling you about that part now. And so when it first happened, I was actually at the McDonald's Play Center with my kids eating crappy food, because that is what helps you go into a higher dimension. I'm just telling you that because people don't realize that it's not about how much you exercise. It's not about what you eat. It's not about the crappy air we breathe or the polluted water. It literally is a spiritual experience. And spiritual, you are either connected spiritually and vibrate. It is a illusion that you cannot have profound spiritual experiences in a body that is drinking impure water, breathing impure air, eating impure foods. Guess what? I don't care what you're eating. It has pesticides on it. It has crap in it. It is a vibrational. It was purchased with money, which already taints its vibrational setting. Like everything about the world that we live in right now is an expression of the dimension that we experience. So if you want to call that third dimension, then that is a representation, doesn't matter, of the dimension we are experiencing. So at McDonald's, eating crappy McDonald's food, I went and I actually rose up in dimension, and I saw the world and experienced reality in a completely amazing, unimaginable way. And it was insane. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the kids play, and I felt just like a totally normal person, you know, just hanging out, got Happy Meals. Kids love Happy Meals, and they love playing at the play center. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just smiling because I'm just relaxed, and I had the oddest sensation of patience, like nothing. I don't have anywhere to go or nothing to do, and it's okay. It was the oddest sensation of patience, as if there was no need to accomplish anything at any time, and that time had absolutely no sensation to me at all. Like, time literally did not exist, and it was. I recognized that first, that I was like unimaginably patient with everything. And I was watching kids playing, and as time is disappearing, the joy that I was experiencing was going extremely high. And I don't know, it's like time creates a misery of its own kind. Time, not I have to be somewhere at a certain time, but time, the sensation that time exists actually creates its own misery. And when time is not there, then suddenly it is such a relief. It is so beautiful. It's so full of joy and sunshine, like you don't even know. And so I was just watching kids just playing, and it was like I was becoming so happy and so joyful and so timeless and so infinite as I'm just sitting there taking this in. I was smiling so huge that I couldn't stop, and I was so aware that I was smiling and I couldn't stop smiling, and I was fine with that. Usually I talk to myself in my head, and sometimes my lips move in public. I talk to, spirits and aliens, and I laugh a lot, and I'm kind of like that in public. And so I'm like, shoot, I'm smiling in public. And I'm like making it obvious that I'm having a conversation, I better stop, so because people are gonna think I'm a weirdo. So I like really try hard to blend in. And so in this experience, I had no self-conscious sensation. I had no sensation of worry or care about what other people thought, or there was absolutely no connection at all with all the things that are human, that you don't even realize are just constantly just there, like constantly, like a sweater you're wearing, and you're wearing like 1,000 sweaters of like issues that you're constantly feeling and dealing with, like just bounding into you and outside of you and all around everybody, and it's all around us, and we feel each other and don't even realize it. And so at McDonald's Play Center, I was escaping all of the sweaters. They were just completely just disappearing, vanishing 100%. And I'm just like freaking out with happiness. Like the joy was like pushing me through the roof. Like I was like turning into a bright sunshine. And I was just had no care at all. Everything I was seeing, all of the human beings that were there, everything that was taking place was so beautiful, so pure, so joyful, so wonderful, so everything was just so great. And it was at McDonald's. Like, who sits at McDonald's and thinks everything is so wonderful, so pure, so immaculate, so joyful, so great? And I have nothing to do but sit here and smile and take everything in. Like, it was extreme. It was unimaginable. So that is one tiny little moment that I've had, and I've had several upon several very unusual, what people define as fifth dimensional experiences. I do not put a number on what that is. I just define it as just removing the energy fields that make us feel inside, like literally like we're inside eggshells, and then when you take them all off, it's like, why were they there in the first place? It's so I don't have a way of telling you how to experience that. I wish that I did. I think it's sort of like, when is this baby going to be born? Nobody, you can have a medical team say, well, it's going to be, this day, this many months from now, but you don't know when that baby's going to be born and what time exactly that it will be born at. And it's sort of like being born, this is like being born. Like, it happens exactly when it's meant to, at exactly the right time. And if I'm not going to lie, if I could stay in that experience, I would, but at the same time, it is too much for me to tolerate. I honestly, when I started coming back down from outside of the ceiling, like when I was coming back to feeling what normal feels like, it was terrible, but also like a relief, because it was too much. It was so too much for me to handle, because I don't feel that way all the time. And it's amazing, though. The feeling is amazing. So I've also had some in October, since I've survived August, and then September was way more tolerable, and now October is just, I have to create a video to help people realize that we are changing, we are developing, like we are going beyond, we are getting past what is the third dimension, or what, our instinctive human natures to fear, and we are letting go. And it isn't like you choose to stop fearing, it just happens, and the universe says yes, or it's the right time. You are attuned, or you're connected with that string of light that I don't know how this happens, I don't know, but the feeling is undeniable. The fact that took place is undeniable. I could feel it happen. So I'll just tell you one more thing that has taken place, just to give you another example of what would be a fifth dimensional experience. I've noticed that there are two energies, literally, and they are what feels like outside of my body. And so I'm just going to describe it exactly as it comes to me. So just, so I have, sitting on one side, is all of the sensation of fear creates. So all in a ball of light that is gray and dark and dingy, and it is what I label as hatred, ball of hatred. And then on the other side, I have what is a ball of pure white light, and it is love. I label it as love. And both balls came to me, and hatred and love were before me, and they literally asked me which one that I wanted. And I could have either. I could choose to have hatred, or I could choose to have love. And which choice do I want to make? And hatred obviously is not the choice you want to make, but it is everything I've ever known. It is everything I've ever had before. It is everything that has always been me. And love is terrifying to a form that has never truly experienced love. And you would say naturally that love would be the obvious choice. Love is not hard. Love is not an easy choice to make, because love actually love and hate blended together. It is actually, I'm not used to it. Well, anyway, naturally, I do not allow my brain. I mean, my brain would just say, well, duh, I'll choose love, duh. But I don't want to make choices in my life that way. I don't want to do that. I actually stop, and I actually allow my body to express itself, what feels like my energy, because I want to be aligned with what my energy actually wants to experience. I come here to experience. I come here in this lifetime to experience what the source is, what all is really exploring right now. And that is what I want to explore. I want to explore exactly what is the most profound experiences that I can give back to all, that I can give back to all of creation, spiritual, physical creation. That is what I want to be. And whether that is a nightmare or whether that is pure love, that is what I want to bring back with me when I am done being Abbey. I want to bring that back. And so I stopped, and I didn't make any thought-based decisions. I didn't use my brain to decide what I was going to choose. And I just stopped, and I just stopped thinking, feeling, I just let my energy choose or tell me what it wanted. And in that moment, I explored my entire existence in that moment, and all of the experiences that hate has provided me, that hate has given to me, which is a blessing, even though it's been a nightmare. And then love, which is completely unknown to me. I try to comprehend what that would mean by embracing that. And it was a choice that I made, that I choose to have love instead of hate now. And I was very much ready to say goodbye to hate, to the ball of everything that is human fear, and embrace everything that is unknown to my humanity, unknown to my expression, which you can say you know what love is. You don't. I have experienced love in ways that I know human beings do not even know what that feels like. Even I can't tolerate love to that degree. It is terrifying. Love to that degree is terrifying. It is a scary thing. So as I chose love, I've now seen love actually like this ball of energy, and it comes back to me. So it lets me actually be a normal person for a while, which is a relief, because when I start to feel it again, it is so hard. It is so unimaginable. I wish I could just have words. I wish I didn't have to use language to explain everything. If I could just share the experience with you, just by sharing my spirit with you, and then you could just download it and then know it automatically. I do not live in a body where you can do that. I live in a human body. It's harder here than if I lived in other bodies on other planets, where communication is so much different and so much easier, and it doesn't use words that make it. It's hard to define things with words. So love has revealed itself to me, and I've chosen love, which I've always chosen love, but I just couldn't have it in the same way as I have it now as of October, or the September moon, I suppose you could say. And so it comes to me in this ball of white light, and when it comes, I recognize it instantly, and I do everything I can to suck it in and absorb it and allow it to just become all of me. And then if I just go about my day again when I've had enough love. And so every time I feel myself, because hatred doesn't actually just come to me like love does, but I do live as a human. I do live in the real world, so I do get attracted to being angry, to fear-based emotions, which is hatred, anger, violence. We all do. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the best Christian on the planet. You hate, just like all the rest of us. It is called life. It is called the planet here. It is called all the diversity and variances of experiences that we are having, really young souls to very old souls, and how life is interpreted is different for every single soul that exists here, and so much corruption, so much, of the darker side of the light spectrum exists here, and it tampers with us all. So I don't care who you are, you hate, and you get frustrated, and you get angry, and that is the ball that exists, that has shown itself to me, and I do embrace it sometimes because I live here still. But then in those moments when I acknowledge what I've done, I actually say, okay, hatred, I am okay letting go of you now, and I see it then exit my body as a ball of dirty, dingy light. And then I say, love, I choose you again, because I always choose you, and I always want you over anything else. And obviously, life itself is not easy here, so I will, whenever I acknowledge I have let go of you, I will choose to embrace you again every single time. And so right now it is becoming far more easy to experience love changing me, giving me a profound view of the world around me, which is timeless and beautiful and immaculate, and even the ugliest parts of life are immaculate in this fifth dimensional perception, in this reality. You don't go anywhere, you sit there and you just alter your perspective, and it just happens. And I don't think there's no way I could tell you how to do it. I wish I could tell you how to do it, because once you experience it, you will know what I am talking about. Once you experience it, you will be ready for, you will see that the world is changing. You will see that human beings are evolving. You will see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So that is all I'm going to share on this topic today. And I hope this has been enlightening for you. And I'm so exhausted from talking about this. So I'm just going to tell you to, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and feel free to visit my website, and feel free to share your thoughts and comments. And thank you for watching.